around that for you. We were talking about security during the electioneering period. We have Richard Tutah with us here. Now, apart from what's happening in terms of deployment, whether by the National Police Service or the KDF, as you say, they are on standby, and that is perfectly okay and in accordance with the law. What about what's happening on the campaign trail? How much stake do the political class have in terms of what they say that some of it could incite acts of, lawlessness? How much or how big of a role do they have to play, politicians?
I think this is an area now that the National Police Service should come in, because the moment people are allowed to talk the way they talk and no action is being taken, some of them are even sounding drums of war. And the moment the police is seen not to be doing anything, in fact, the 40 days remaining towards the election is an opportunity, a very good opportunity, for the various security agencies to recharge their batteries of deterrence. Because how they will deal with the situation currently may make the situation to escalate on the day of election. Because as it is today, they have signaled the politicians that you can say, you can do whatever you want to do. We don't have the capacity to contain what you are saying. We don't have the capacity to arrest you. In fact, some of these politicians now have purported to be big than what we think they are. So the best thing that now the police should do is that let them recharge their batteries of deterrence. Let them not deal with who, but deal with what. That is what is important.
Is the Kenyan police ready from where you sit? Is there a need for special preparation by the police, or it's just another day of work for them?
When I look at the police currently, I tend to think that the Kenya police is just like Goliath on shackles. They have all that. They have all the powers that they have been given. But somebody somewhere again decides to put them on shackles, so that they are no longer dealing with what? They are dealing with who? And what I mean is that they come in and start applying double standards. And the moment they are seen to be applying double standards, that if so-and-so says, it is okay. But if so-and-so says the same thing that the other person said, now it becomes an illegality. And I think the 40 days is an enough day. It is enough for the police, just like I said in the beginning, to start sending signals that they are ready for any eventuality.
Back to the issue of hate speech, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, do you think they've done enough to curb hate speech?
To me, I will look at that institution that you have mentioned as a lame duck. So far, nobody has, I don't think, and even if there is somebody who has been charged, the number is very minimum as compared to the perception people have of those who should by now be behind bars.
All right.
So this is another agency that needs to recharge their battery.
All right, thank you so much, Richard Tutah, security expert there. But before we wind up the program here, that is Worldview this afternoon, let's now bring you a reminder of our Twitter poll question this afternoon. Of course, has been on that story where the East Africa Breweries Limited is set to open a new 15 billion shillings brewery. President Uhuru Kenyatta did say that this will create 110 jobs, saying that the plant has already engaged 30,000 farmers from around 5 counties to grow sorghum, which is a primary ingredient in the production of beer. Now, we did ask you, do you believe the opening of the EABL plants in Kisumu is a sign that the Jubilee government is serious about job creation? A lot of feedback and a lot of no's here that I can read. Okombo Paul says the EABL project is not a government project, so I don't see why the president should take any credit from it. One here from Charles75 on Twitter says the brewery project is not a government project, it's a private investment. Please educate the electorate. And Mokua says EABL is a listed company, not a government department. And one here, Jacob Otiende, says no, this is just a way of seeking votes. I doubt. I can barely see a yes here. Otieno Alpha says that's a campaign strategy. APL is also a private company. Therefore, Uhuru should not take credit for it. And finally, one here. Rango says, yes, people should look at the project in terms of job creation rather than thirst-quenching alcohol industry. And finally, one here from Kaka, who says, you have a cup. No, that's a different. Baluk says, so which business opens a plant somewhere for the government of Kenya? That is a private business like Brookside or Nakumans. A lot of no's there for you on that tweetable question. That's why we leave it on Worldview this afternoon. Thank you so much, Richard Tutah, security expert there, of course, taking us through some of what's happening in terms of the country's preparedness, security-wise, ahead of the elections. 40 days to the election. I'm Ben Kitili. Bye for now. Don't go too far. Mbiu ya KTN is coming up shortly.